2 minutes and counting down. I hope this works. I have been told that this is the way to go, so I'm doing it. What's the time? 1 minute and counting. The headphones make glasses troublesome. Espresso, yum. Do we hate the doorway thing? Those are the pictures of my grandkids. And my lamp. That doesn't look bad. All right. If it bugs you, tell me. I can close the door. How are we doing? 11:59. I'm scheduled to start in 30 seconds. I'm so excited. Oh, what am I going to do? I hope people talk to me. Talk to me. Tell me stuff. Counting in. Eureka. It's noon on the Pacific coast of Oregon on August 4th. Sunday. It's not 19. I'm so old. 2024. The century of the 20s. Yeah. All right. So today's topic, I can't remember anything. The properties of masculine and feminine as described by the vehicle of the Tao, which uses the words yin and yang to describe those two qualities. And I believe that those two qualities describe the gods, the initial original source of creation is two gods. And that all the permutations on my diagram are just iterations. They're iterations. They're here we go. Levels and vertical pillars representing all the possible intricacies of combining negative and positive energy at different levels of experience. The higher levels are not better or worse, but they are less accessible. So at the top, we have the supernals, which means in this body, that's a little bit of a reach. That's all that means. Doesn't mean that you can't reach it. Doesn't mean that you're not made of it. You are related to the supernals. Now, in religion, this is what they do. They say, God is above us and we can't touch him. He's always a guy in the one God religions. And we can't touch him, and he's disconnected from us. But this is a recent religious way of thinking, which I think is problematic. And I'd like to change it. Yeah, I would. But they said be real, so I'm burping and everything. Changing isn't that necessary. I don't know if we really change, but I do think that we evolve and understand things on a different level. So thus we have levels, right? Yeah. So masculine, feminine. Now, what we're getting, if you here's a problem. Everything crosses over and transforms into the other. So there's a transgender insanity going on, and it's insane. I'm sorry. If you are a man, you cannot become a woman. And if you are a woman, you will never be a man. Well, maybe not in this life. Maybe in the next life. How do you like that? Okay. Yeah. So point being, yin is the feminine receptive and yang is the masculine assertive. Magnetism, yin. Electricity, yang. Now, I want to make it simple because honestly, did I tell you I have ADHD or I am an ADHD, or whatever, however you want to describe being something. I never knew that. I always thought I was neurotic, um, uh, distracted, dumb, because it takes me a while to figure shit out. Bad things. And then my friends, oh, Julie, you're so lovely. We love you. And my friends are very kind and they love me. But I couldn't get things done. I couldn't get things finished. And I have a million good ideas. And there you go. Not to mention that as soon as I turn my back, I forget my friends. They think I don't like them, but that's not it. I just can't remember. Anyway, so that's my brain. They call it ADHD now. As they always change the names. Every few years, you get a new name for you. Anyway, but knowing that, you see, that is very helpful because then you go, oh, well, now I have a way of dealing with my issues, my things, myself. And the way I work is the way I work. So instead of fighting and trying to change, I find it's more productive and more empowering to know myself and then to work with that, work around. Because what society tells us to do isn't necessarily what we should do. Now, there are certain rules that we need to obey because they make things run smoother. Like, don't kill each other. That's not nice. Okay. So, the properties of masculine and feminine, known as yin and yang by the Tao, are very easy to describe if you just use basic sex. You have gametes, you have the sperm and the egg. The male gamete, the sperm, is tiny and they're billions and they make them up as they go along. they're like instant ramen. they're everywhere, they're cheap and they're easy to make. That's masculine. So the idea of masculine and yang is that it's fast. It goes fast. It's the pitcher in baseball. That fastball, now that's yang. That'll hit you and hurt you. That'll break your bones. Yang is aggressive, assertive. And then the catcher is the yin. Ooh, and you know what? The catcher is really strong because catching a fastball can really hurt you. But that catcher is like, he's strong. She's strong. You see what I'm trying to get at here is because we have words that have told us inference that something is weak or small or little is dirty, wrong, and bad. We have these ideas. For instance, when I like to tell my story and I say, oh, I'm a loser, I just love doing it because it really irritates people. Oh, they see me, oh, Jewel, you're just lovely and smart and we love you and don't say that about yourself. But I'm joking around to make a point. My point is that ADHD brain, I lose everything. And as soon as I put something down, if I can't see it, I don't remember where I put it. I lost it. Sometimes I think, oh my God, I've gone into another universe where that thing doesn't exist. And that's why I can't see it. And I swear to God, I will turn around and it will be there. And then I will think, oh, I guess I did leave it there. Sometimes I feel like I'm gaslighting myself. And it's not fun and I don't like it. So I have figured out ways to stay organized in the physical world, but I can't do it in the mental world. That's why I have all these pictures, these diagrams. This helps me to coordinate. And what I'm finding out is that it might help you too. Whether you're ADHD, neurodivergent, or just plain. These diagrams are really helpful because the words that are being used nowadays are used to confuse us. And George Carlin has a whole bit about words adding more syllables. It used to be shell-shocked, and then it was, what was it? I wish I had researched that better. They start with shell-shocked, and they end up with post-traumatic syndrome. And so it's a lot more syllables to describe the same thing. And what happens is you use the more syllables and you end up thinking that you sound more important. Did you really know something? Because we want to have a college degree or a postgraduate or two postgraduates, and then we're a rock star in modernia, as I call us. We're modernians. Yeah. So you get like one or two or three degrees, and then you're a friggin' expert, and then you can make more money and you can have more status. And that's how it works. In astrology, that's a Saturnian quality. That means you're old and accomplished. But what happens is it just gets so full of itself. And it's interesting because knowledge is actually yang because it's ideas and it doesn't have a body. Do ideas have bodies? Ideas do not have bodies. They are yang. Thoughts are yang. They're masculine. Guess what? I have thoughts. Am I a man? No, I have yang energy that helped to make me. One of the gods who made me was an idea god, and that guy couldn't make me alone because guess what? He didn't have any hands. That god is a crazy man. He's Uranus. He's a crazy man. He has millions of ideas every second, million ideas a second. And each one has a blueprint. Ba-ding, and it flashes like the silhouette of night, the silhouette of the skyline in a lightning storm. That's Uranus. So all these ideas have to go somewhere. Well, where do they go? Well, they go into the earth, the grounded, feminine, yin goddess, the S, right? And so she is the catcher, the receiver who receives the message. She gets the fastballs, and boom, he's just slamming them in there, billions and ooh, it's really sexy and scary and it's harsh. And guess what? Neither one of them gives a shit because they just do what they do. This is called being amoral. And amorality is not a bad or a good thing. That's another thing that we get confused about word wise. Amorality just means it has no morality. He's just slamming them in there and she's just catching them. Boom, boom, bitty, boom, boom. Now, his job is making ideas. We all have that in our brain and our little receivers that receive messages from where did that voice in my head come from? Who knows, right? So we're sending and receiving, and we're doing both. We do both as humans. As animals, they do both. They just don't have the thinky, wordy word thing that we have. So we're different, aren't we? But I'm made from a yang god who created the blueprint and a yin S who made me into this. So that's how I see it. And I have this idea that belief is a choice. That's how I choose to believe this because I have asked and studied and worked toward this understanding. Now, in my astrology chart, it's all about the 12, which is Pisces, the 12th house, and Neptune, and Jupiter in Pisces. I have all of those things. And what does that say? That says that my whole life has been directed by a spiritual urge. The whole thing. All the suffering, all the confusion, the neurodivergence, all of it is about a spiritual urge. And that is a good thing to know because that then puts me on a track that I can live with rather than having society tell me, well, Jewel, you have to do this and that, and you have to do it with these steps. Because guess what? I cannot follow your steps. I'm going to cry in a minute. Following your steps is too hard for me. I can't do it. I cannot follow your steps because they don't make sense to me. And if something doesn't make sense to me or ring in my heart, I can't follow it. And I think more people are like me than aren't. I think you are more like me than you know. And I may be a crazy old woman, but there's a lot to be said for that because I am also a happy old woman. in my solitude, in my studies, in my search, because I'm always asking for grace. And you can have that in any religion. Over belief. Grace lives over belief. So I can't accept a religion that's given to me. I can only accept my own heart. And I think that's what Christ said, by the way. And maybe Buddha, and maybe Lao Tzu, all of the thinker, feeler people that we read and adore. Anyway, back to belief. So belief is a yang thing. And belief is, in our astrology, it's Jupiter and Zeus, the king. But he isn't a regular king. The real king is the heart. And Jupiter is not there. He's up in the throat. Jupiter is part of the moral center, which is how we speak. Which takes me back to my initial idea is that thoughts are things, but how are thoughts manifested? They're manifested through our ability to make the physical solid. And that's what Saturn does. And Saturn has been given in astrology to be a male. But I have to tell you, all of the attributes in the text are all about feminine things. Because material world is the physical aspect of God. And that is what I learned from listening to Rob Hand, the most brilliant astrologer teacher that I've never met but read for years. All right. So belief then has to be coupled with restraint. It has to be coupled with experience for it to be something that's true, that you speak. So when we speak our truth, are we really speaking from the middle, from our moral center? Are we speaking from what we have been told to believe, or what we have just rejected because we can't help but reject things that we don't know about? That's up here in the fifth chakra. That's what happens. And look how a tiny little space the neck is. All that holy energy is coming in over here, as we know. It's streaming in, boop, 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 boop. And here it swirls around and it's, oh, we got urges, we got sights, we got vision, we're just, ooh, and suddenly, here we go. Let's narrow all this crazy, all that toppy stuff, supernal stuff. Let's narrow it down right into here. And let's find out what we believe and what we care not to believe. And then we'll come into the center of those two energies, yin and yang, and we will be the central figure in that duality. And we will then say, oh, but is this a moral issue? Is this my morality, or is this another morality of something else, of society, of another that I'm not aware of? At that point, then the king, Jupiter, he puts on beggar's clothes and goes into the world. He puts on a swan outfit and hangs out with swans. He changes. He's a shapeshifter at that point. Well, the reason that he does that is so that he can go into farther places, into new experiences, and have another perspective. Because perspective, this is my cup. But what does my cup look like here? Right? And what does it look like? My last bit of coffee. Here's another way to look at a cup. These are not the same ways that you look at a cup. When you think of a cup, do you think of this side of it? You think of the handle? Oh, like that. Yeah. Do you get my point? It's pretty simple. Perspective, 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 perspective. And that's all religion is a perspective. Because I just heard somebody recently say, it's all the same God, you just have different names. And I think that's brilliant and simple. And once again, back to my simplicity thing, simplicity really is important. And that's why yin and yang, masculine, feminine, is really important, because it helps us to identify, because that seems to be a big issue these days, is identity. It identifies the parts of us that are operating. And some of us some parts of us are mental, and parts of us are physical. Which is what's in operation. Belief is a choice. Belief is a choice. You do not have to believe what you're told. You should investigate your ideals. You should find out if they're working properly. For instance, war is a good issue. If you believe that it's not okay to go and kill people, then war is not okay ever. How is it? It's never okay. It's not. End of story. So the people who are running around saying, oh, yeah, let's go, and those people have this right to kill all these people, blah, 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 and our country does it, other countries do it, it's not okay. And if you go to church every day and you praise your divine makers, whoever they may be, and then you say, oh, it's okay, I've got to go kill this neighbor or that foreigner or this friend or this wife or husband, not okay. Not okay. It's just simple. So all the permutations of belief allow us to lie like dogs. Stop lying like dogs, because that's all it is. It's that simple. And the fact that we put up with all of these lying liars and their lies and still believe that we have a moral center that's functioning is stupid. It's just stupid. All right. Because here's the thing. Now, if we want to say, oh, well, we're investigating as spiritual beings, we're investigating the possibility of murder and killing to understand murder and killing better, well, then that's a thing, isn't it? But that's not what we're doing. And if we wanted to do that, then I think we'd probably be in one of those devil worshiping cultures, communities, cults, whatever. So you see, it's a slippery slope we're on here. And if we don't talk about these things, then we're not going to understand. We're just going to have lots of fear and rejection and vilifying and finger pointing and blaming. So I think if we boil it down to yin and yang, and we begin to understand the properties of yin and yang, then we might be able to discuss these things with more literacy and compassion and understanding, which is what I do, what my astrology says about me, is that I can't accept anything anybody tells me. I have to check it out. I have to put on the outfit and wear it around and feel like a fool and run home and then change my clothes. I'm speaking metaphorically. That those clothes are the beliefs, right? Is that in the Bible, the coat of many colors? Who is that guy? Somebody tell me, because I don't know anything. I just hear stories and repeat them as they fit into my story. That's what I do. So it's interesting. All right, yin and yang. To know a thing is to have it inside you, which is like putting the cloak on, and you are the inside part. The feminine knows the masculine because he lives inside her. The God goes within the S. That's the whole cult of sex, where the lingam and the yoni are together. It's sex, intercourse, people. The feminine knows the masculine because he lives inside her. He comes inside of her. He grows inside of her. And if she has a son, he really grows inside of her, you see. All that masculine yang, hormonal stuff. Mothers of sons know men really well. But then if he is taught not to respect her, which I think happens in one male god, Modernia, I think that's the main issue we're having. Capitalism, fascism, all the isms about having one leader, one boss who is in control of everything and the wisest and the one God, that all boils down to disrespecting the living beings and the earth experience. So that's how I see it. Anyway, if he doesn't respect her, which we don't, I mean, look at the earth, how we treat it. We just treat it like it's our supermarket instead of our mother. But he can't know her if he doesn't go inside of her. That's why men want women. That's why men pursue us. And if he cannot know her, then he cannot protect her. She needs to allow his entry. This is yin and yang, and it's sexual. He cannot know her if he cannot go inside of her. He must feel her. And the organ that he has to feel her is says, you know what? He must go within her. And that is where he discovers union. That's when he learns to protect her, where his desire then becomes large and it grows. You love all these sex words. To an idea, a desire, an urge to protect the vessel that holds him. Life itself then becomes that lover. Our actual life is our lover, our container for the spirit that thought us up. All right, so to know something is to drink it in. We have to have experience. We are experience junkies. And so if we've decided we're going to have some wretched, cruel experience, we're doing it to know something. But that moral center sometimes that moral center all the time needs to say, not that. Let's not go that far. To drink something is to contain it and know it. I know this really well. I'm a foodaholic. I have eating disorder. I want to eat, and it's because having the experience of the substance in my body tells me it's a language where everything is language, whether it's like bop words or not. So the language of the sensual is a brilliant language. And it's the feminine language because the goddess, the S, is illiterate. I know women hate me to say that, but the feminine dances, and she has the experience of her counterpart within her. The goddess is full of the god. The god is in her. He doesn't make her. They are two different things. To know is to imbibe. To drink is to contain. Yin sacrifices her autonomous body to make life. Yang sacrifices his energy, his spirit, to go within her. Between the two, then, we have a singular experience. We are the one. You are as God. You are as gods. So, what do we have in Modernia? We have a spiritual crisis. We have turned the corner from the old-fashioned religions of the one God, and we are now exploring the two into one. So people are going nuts about men turning into women and women not so much turning into men, but women are more or less interested in that. I think it's the men that have lost their minds about it. And the women, you see, the women who facilitate this cruel cruel medical experiment are very yin. They're doing what women do, what the yin does. She receives him. I receive you. I receive you. I am open to you. I receive you. That's what yin is. So the liberal people that are very feminine yin, they're the ones that say, "Oh, it's all good. It's all good. It's all let it all in. Let it all in." That's what's going on here. And so we need to understand all the particulars of these energies. And when we do, I think it helps us to back away from some of the crazy, because that's what's going on. It's pretty evil. It's evil. Too much, too much, too much. Because if you want to look, um, okay, look at my diagram, and you can see there are two pillars, and there's three pillars, one on the right, one on the left, and one down the middle. We live in the middle pillar because the two sides are the yin and yang sides, right? So the two come together in that union where she receives he. And in that combination, they become reality, life. And that's like a neuronal thing. You look at the science now. It's like you've got pictures of the neurons going, boo, they're growing like tree roots, and they're reaching like leaves, and it's up above and it's down below. That's just yin and yang in combination. Just? I said just. Yeah. All right. So the way I see it is we have a lot of work to do in understanding simple things and understanding them in ourselves. And I like astrology because it's the one that grabbed me. When I was young, I tried psychology. That didn't do it for me. It was just kind of vapid and too many syllables once again. And then there was the anthropology. I really liked that, but that didn't do it for me. No. And what happened after that? Sociology. Oh, yeah, it's nurture. It's nurture. And actually, yin is nurture and yang is thinking about nurture. See, I mean, you go around with this stuff when you start playing with it, and it helps you to realize that your beliefs are just goofy. Our beliefs are not, they're not real. Belief isn't real until you wear the suit, the belief suit. And that's why people are so adamant about their religion. They'll kill for it. A religion that says, "Don't kill. I'm going to kill you because I'm wearing my religion suit right now." And my religion suit says you have to genuflect to my words or I will kill you, or you are wrong. And they believe it so strongly. I heard someone once say that the Inquisition, that it was horrifying. And burning witches. I mean, just murdering people cruelly because they won't bend the knee to your words, because they believe it so strongly that they believe. Here's what I heard. I wish I could tell you every source and their name, but I can't remember. But a source said the inquisitors believed that you would burn in hell for eternity. Eternity. If you didn't say those words, you had to say, "I believe in this Savior, and that's my story, and end of story, and I really mean it." And then they would let you go. Otherwise, they would murder you the most heinous ways, because words that don't exist. And some people would say, "Oh, just say the words and then go home and do your thing." That's what I would do. So I'm not, that's how I would do it. I would just, "Oh yeah, sure, whatever." But in modernity, I don't have to, so I don't. But if I'd been in those days, I would have. You bet I would. God, my nose is saying, "Please stop dripping." Excuse me. Passionate runny nose. All right. All right. I don't have any chatters. Okay. All right. How long have we been talking? 34 minutes? That's probably long enough for a rant. Although I did want to show you. I want to see if I can share. I want to share my screen. Okay. Well, I don't think I know how to do this. I wanted to show you my website, but I don't think I know how yet. So make that go away. Go away. Go away now. Well, that's not working. All right. I guess that means I'm done. And I don't know how to make that stop. So, there we go. Hopefully, I'll get better at this because I really would like to share these ideas on a grander scale. As I see so much turmoil and pain and suffering and arguing and confusion, I want to simplify the conversation with these simple terms and with very simple processes, just self inquiry using these simple terms. All right, so I would love to have people actually get on my stream and talk, so maybe that'll happen. Hopefully, that'll happen. And the cat is calling. Take care. Star Singer here. I have a website, jillstarsinger.com, and a Substack and all the 9 yards. So let's see how it goes. All right. Take care.